Now, the Democratic Alliance and ActionSA concluded their bilateral meeting in Johannesburg yesterday. The meeting was for the two parties to assess the current political climate in the country and, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala Phala saga. Joining us now to share some insight on the meeting is ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba. Mr. Mashaba, thank you for making time. What did the meeting entail?
First of all, thank you very much, Clement, and good afternoon to the listeners. I think, it's very interesting, very encouraging, very inspired by the outcome of my meeting with John Steenhuisen yesterday, because if one looks back in reflection, ever since the local government elections, where us as ActionSA put the DA into government in the three metros, Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Ekurhuleni, the relationship was just never good. And for us as ActionSA, we know we tried really very hard because at the end of the day, for us, our priority was to ensure that we don't have ANC governments in these municipalities, because the voters have voted them out. And really reached out to the DA the last few weeks to say, John, as leaders of the parties, we can't operate like this. Look at now where Johannesburg is under threat. We've got the situation in Ekurhuleni, and if we don't do anything about this, it will spill into Tshwane most likely, and we cannot afford to really have the ANC coming back. Fortunate enough, eventually it happened, and I can tell you, to be honest with you, I went to the meeting very skeptical. I remember in the morning after having a shower, I said to my wife, I'm going to this difficult meeting and I'm really not really positive. And she says, no, why then go? I said, no, I'm going anyway. And I'm telling you, John was really very receptive from the beginning. I mean, from the time we started our meeting up to finish, we're just really making one progress after the other. So, we will provide the details, because we unfortunately would need to really then involve the other parties that share the same vision with us, because the two of us, we don't have the numbers on our own. So we still have to then engage the other parties. But obviously, from John's point of view, which I respect, he has to go and consult with his leadership in the party. Fortunate enough for ActionSA, our Senate has given me the blanket mandate to really make whatever decisions as long as they were in the interest of South Africa.
Yeah, so what's interesting, Mr. Mashaba, is that this is a party that is ActionSA you've pulled out of a coalition agreement within Ekurhuleni, right? And you even indicated that you will review other arrangement. It's a party that you've called arrogant. Does it mean that you guys have ironed out your differences as political parties?
Yeah, well, in fact, if I share with you my opening remarks around saying to John in the beginning of the meeting, I said, John, we are adults, we leaders of political parties to really save this country. Please let our discussions be brutal, but be honest with one another. Let's not really try and play games. Where ActionSA has erred, feel free to raise these issues with me. Where you've heard, I can tell you, I'm not here to really make friendship. I'm here to try and really save the country from the ANC. Raise the issue of Ekurhuleni. How do you expect anybody can think that you can run a smooth minority government? Do you look at Ekurhuleni? We don't have the numbers from day one to run a minority government. Look at the city of Johannesburg. We don't have the numbers. The ANC and their coalition partners, they've obviously taken the speaker, they've taken all the Section 79, so basically taken over the legislature. Yesterday, on the 8th, I said to him, John, the city of Johannesburg was supposed to have had a council meeting with lots of the reports that the mayor wanted to take through to council. The speaker just decided on her own to cancel this council sitting. So what is going to happen if we don't act, and we don't act now? Unfortunately, things are not going to really happen our own way.
How are you going to act in Ekurhuleni? Is it safe to say that you will be returning to a coalition pact with the DA in Ekurhuleni following these talks?
No, we will only return to Ekurhuleni in the event the DA come to their senses and they can accept forming a majority government, because we don't want to really be put at the mercy of anyone else. We can't really play the Russian roulette with the future of our residents, because once you don't have the numbers, because this method, it's about numbers. If you don't have numbers to pass budget, if you don't have numbers to pass critical reports in the council, you're wasting your time. To think that you can run a minority government, it's not possible. You've got to really be out of your mind. So ActionSA will only return once we can agree on forming a coalition government, but with majority, so that we can run smoothly for the next 4 years.
Majority, Mr. Mashaba, will mean that they have to work with the EFF. And they've made it very clear that that's not what they want.
I think, what I'm saying is, let us cross this bridge when we get there, because right now, at the moment, it was a bilateral meeting between the DA and us. So let us really discuss this issue, municipality by municipality, and so forth. Can start with Johannesburg. Johannesburg is going to really be easier as far as I'm concerned. And for us to take back Johannesburg will have a ripple effect in other municipalities. So, yes, I think let's respect John to get his FedEx mandate. Fortunate enough, as I've indicated to you, from ActionSA, the Senate has got the confidence that I will act in the best interest of South Africa. But
what are his feelings? What are his feelings when you spoke to him about, particularly Ekurhuleni, in that you will return if it becomes a majority government? And they're going to need the EFF. I mean, that's very clear.
No, we never really discuss the EFF, because obviously, as far as the FedEx is concerned, there's no way that they can deal with the EFF. So I said, let's park this one. Let's focus on Johannesburg, because Johannesburg we can form majority like we did in the past without the EFF. Let's start there and see how it runs, and let's have an open mind, because it's about stability. Right now, you have a mayor in Ekurhuleni. We as ActionSA, we will support them as long as they consult us to protect them from the ANC onslaught. But at the end of the day, in Ekurhuleni, even if we can give them our 15 seats, they're not going to really protect them from this highness. But in Johannesburg, it is possible. I can tell you, and I did indicate this to John, and he agrees with me. I said, John, if we are not going to do something proactively in Johannesburg, come January, February, unfortunately, this municipality will be under ANC highness. And you cannot really blame anyone than blame ourselves. Don't expect the coalition governments to be smooth riding. No coalition anywhere in the world has ever been smooth. In fact, I said, John, I'm telling you, even you guys are running on your own in the Western Cape. It's not easy. The political environment is not an easy environment, more especially in our context. Let's really face it. Majority of our politicians in this country, in politics, they put their stomachs before public service. It's a nature of our politics. It's going to take us generations to sort it out, where people can go into politics because they want to serve society. Unfortunately, right now, anyone going into politics, I know we all the time, we are surrounded by people who are looking for opportunities because they think politics is the easiest way to be rich, so that you can manage to buy buffaloes and others. So unfortunately, that's the nature of our political environment. Will it change? I believe so, but it'll take generations. It can't happen during my lifetime.
So you've ironed things out between ActionSA and the DA. The question is, have you ironed things out with Helen Ziller? When you said you went into that meeting skeptical, I thought, was Helen Ziller in that meeting? Because that would have been interesting. You've spoken to John, but you still haven't spoken to Helen, and there seems to be issues between the two of you.
But Clement, who's the leader of the DA? I'm the leader of ActionSA, and I was talking to the leader of the DA, and I hope and I trust that John is going to really provide the leadership in this regard. So it was a leader to leader kind of discussions, and we mutually agreed, without obviously making any commitment, but we agreed on the principles. And John says, please, Herman, give me an opportunity to go and engage my colleagues in FedEx. I said, John, for me, I can tell you from ActionSA, the Senate, I've got a full mandate. I've got a blank check to negotiate with you in good faith, and I hope you are negotiating with me.
But how do we deal with individuals, Mr. Mashaba? Because
with Helen.
You speak about Helen Zille in particular ways. She speaks about you in particular ways. There seems to be friction there, and then I'm wondering if John Steenhuisen has made a commitment that he will speak to Helen Zille. Do you plan on meeting? Because what's the point of the parties agreeing?
It's a very valid point and fair, Clement, for you to raise this matter, because I think the relationship, for me, and I did indicate to John yesterday, I said, John, you know why I left the city of Johannesburg when I came across secret meetings between the DA and ANC to have a motion of no confidence. And I said, Don, you remember very well that you guys denied it at the time. And I showed him a video of SABC interviewed last week. For some reason, Helen made a mistake to confirm this. And I said, these are the issues. And I said, you've got to deal with this. So I am hurt. I feel betrayed. And
so
you guys
have coffee with her to deal with this?
I said, you guys go and deal with it. I'm happy to really move forward. But these are the issues that, John, let's not really just ignore them. It is an issue. I had to leave, and you guys called me EFF mayor. You remember? I said,
I remember that. But what I'm asking, Mr. Mashaba, is, are you willing to sit down and have coffee with Helen Zille to resolve these issues? Because your parties are working together, and what's the point of the parties working together when leaders who are so powerful in the organizations are not getting along?
Who's the leader of the DA?
It's John Steenhuisen, but Helen Zille is the federal executive chair. That's a powerful position within the organization.
Well, absolutely. I have Michael Buurman as the national chairperson. I think this matter it's actually about the national leaders. And I've committed to John that if there's any issue, raise it. And I said to you guys calling me EFF mayor. On the other hand, ANC calling me a coconut and whatever. I said, look, you know what, John, I wasn't born yesterday. I know the strategies because you want to put, your party decided to really paint me as an EFF because I want to provide services to poor people. But on the other hand, I said, I'm not concerned because I'm not only attacked by the D. I said, ANC, I said, John, you will see after this, and you can look at it in social media. I'm obviously called a house nigger. I mean, I'm not going to be distracted by such cheap talks.
Mr. Mashaba, we're out of time, but when you need to have that tea with Helen Zille, I'll put you both of you here and facilitate the conversation. Herman Mashaba, the leader of ActionSA.